You described it as an exciting conversation. It's more than that, isn't it? This is a really ambitious, bold promise, the likes of which I haven't seen for decades in my coverage of Australian politics. This is saying, as part of our energy mix by 2050, nuclear will make up 38% of the grid.
That's right, and renewables, half of that. So this is still a renewables policy. This straw man argument that the coalition is anti-renewables or renewables are not part of the mix is just nonsense. Of course, renewables are a huge, important factor for the energy transition, but 100% renewables doesn't work. It won't work, hasn't worked anywhere else in the world, and it certainly won't work with an increased population in 2050 and beyond. So we need to have a reliable baseload component, and 19 out of our 20 economic peers have it. It is about time that Australia joined that as well.
Is it achievable, though, to go from a standing start to what would be the equivalent of eighth in the world for nuclear as part of our system if we get to 38% by 2050?
It is. We're Australians. We're entrepreneurial. We can find solutions to the most complex problems. I've seen that from the military to enterprise. There's nothing Australians can't do if they turn their mind to it. So if we have the will, we will find a way. And I'm confident that we will find a way to do this. And we've got to bring people with us. You need a social licence for the 7 areas, but you also need a social licence for renewables. You see the beautiful terrain behind me. Throughout Australia, we're going to see terrain like this covered in wind turbines and solar panels. This balance will make sure that we're protecting green space in Australia as well as providing the energy needs that we need.
Is your team on board for this bold commitment? Because it is going to be it's a huge risk, as you know. In politics, you go with a big target. It does carry with it political risks.
100%. But we need leadership like this in Australia. We're going to be competing with a big competitive world. And for us, in order to have the industries here that will compete with the world, we need reliable energy. And for Peter to lead that conversation, I think shows that he is a true leader, a strong leader. And that's why we encourage our political opponents to engage in the detail, not engage in straw man arguments, not look for the cheap tiles that we saw where we saw 3-headed fish. Australians deserve better than that. And I think even Labor knows that that was a mistake. And so now they've shifted on to other avenues. But let's have this debate. Australians are up for it. And I'm proud to stand with Peter Dutton and Ted O'Brien as they're leading this debate and this conversation.
I know you're a member of the federal parliament, but you are a Victorian Liberal. Should John Pesutto apologise to Maura Deeming?
Look, I know John Pesutto very well for many years. He's a good, decent man and a good, strong leader. He's focused on the things that matter to Victorians, which, frankly, are crying out for an alternative leader, and John Pesutto is that man. But I will say this, as a federal member, all of these decisions are for my state colleagues. Like they wouldn't interfere in our matters, we don't interfere in theirs. We fully support them and their team and what they're fighting for in Victoria.
Keith Wolahan, joining us from Yarra Valley today. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.